Hey, everybody. All right, just gonna wait for a few more people to join us. So, everybody that's joining me, this is my first live, by the way, so be supportive, okay? But everybody that's joining, if you could just comment what city you're joining from. Just comment and tell me what city you're joining from. What city is everybody in? Just comment. Hoodbridge? It's not Hoodbridge, it's Woodbridge. Thank you, Danielle. Yes, it's Woodbridge. Fredericksburg, okay. All right, so thanks for everybody joining me. Like I said, this is my first Facebook Live, so be supportive. But I wanted to ask you all, so what would you do today if you lost your job? Like you came into work and like you just literally didn't have a job anymore. All right, so I'll tell you that happened to me, and I didn't know what to do. So those of you all that know me personally probably know that everybody always jokes and says I'm a Jamaican. I have like 3 jobs and oh, you're a hustler and all that stuff, you know. So I'm used to having like my full-time job and then having other sources of income, far as me Lachey drive for dollars. So I'm used to having other people, other sources of income, like, you know, I'm a licensed hairstylist. And back in the day when I had time, I used to babysit and used to even mow lawns and stuff like that. So, but I've always had like a full-time job since I started working when I was 15 and I've worked since then. So I'm going to back up a little bit and so I basically had a situation with my last job when I was a full-time employee, and I like just lost my job, had no more income coming in, and I had no other source of funds because of other stuff I had going on at the time. So basically, I used to work at U.S. Patent and Trademark. It's in Alexandria, and I was a security assistant there. So, and I was there for just a week shy of 2 years, actually. And basically, so I had a supervisor, and initially she liked me, but over time, I don't know if I killed her cat or what. I don't know, but I guess at some point she decided she hated me. So there were certain things that led up to what happened, but in short, basically there were a couple incidents that took place while I was working there. One, when I first started working there, I was told that I will be able to telework after 6 months of working there, if as long as I had a satisfactory like work habits or something like that. So I, when the 6 month mark came, I'm like, oh, okay, hey, cool, I can telework now, you know. So went to her. She went to go get it signed off by the director, and he comes back and says, hey, she can't telework because everybody else had to wait a year. She has to wait a year too. Now, that was different than what I was told. So I'm a person that asks questions. So they had this skip meeting thing where the managers weren't present, our direct managers weren't present. So you could just ask questions to the like higher ups, basically, like the CFO and stuff like that. So I just said, hey, what is the telework policy for our division? And they were like, they would have to look into it. They didn't know for sure because people do it differently and so forth. But they were asking why I asked. And I was just like, okay, well, I was told that I could do it after 6 months, but I'm told that other people had to wait a year. So I don't know what happened. That was a Friday, I think. And let's just say by Monday, I was able to telework. So I guess I stepped on some toes there or whatever. People got upset and held it against me. So, anyways, I was able to telework. Then I've always had this, I guess I can't hide facial expressions and stuff like that, like whenever I'm reacting to something. So it's always been an issue for me. And so my supervisor one day, she initially we were cool and I would talk to her daily, but then she just had these like mood swings, and I don't deal with that well. So I'm just like kind of like, hey, you just can you just be, I mean, we're human, but can you just be one way or the other? So I the way I handle that is I just like I'll just say, okay, I'll just keep my distance from that person, just come in and do my work and go home. Well, not if people don't let you do that. So one day she was talking to me and she said somebody told her something about her being upset about something. She's like, well, I'm human, you know, like I'm not perfect. And I was like, yeah, I know what you mean. And she was like, well, what do you mean by that? Like, and I was like, oh no, I was just agreeing with you, you know. And she kept like trying to get it out of me what I was saying. And I was just like, okay, well, to be honest, you're moody at times and I don't know what I'm gonna get when I come in here. So I just like keep my distance basically because I don't know what I'm going to get. So she seemed to be okay with receiving that information that day. However, she wasn't. So let's see. I think a week later, I was getting ready to head out to catch the VRE train station. And she's like, oh, did your hours change? And I was just like, lady, you know my hours. Like my desk is my office right across from yours. You know my hours. So anyways, she wanted to play silly with that. So even though we had discussed something about what time I needed to leave out to get to the metro and stuff like that. So ended up being, I remember the day I came in, and I remember the date because Trump was announced the president of the United States the night before. So when I came in that day, it was November 9th, and she sent me an email and she's like, hey, me and the director want to meet with you at 2:00. Make sure your calendar's free. So I'm like, what the hell is going on, you know? So I went to the meeting. It comes to find out it was a meeting where I wasn't allowed to ask questions, basically. And they were just telling me that they found that I came in late this number of days. Never mind, she comes in late every day, like an hour late. But hey, you were 15 minutes late this day. And they said that, so basically they took my telework privileges away. And then she said that anytime that I was late, after that, like if I was more than 15 minutes late, I needed to email them or call them and let them know. So this is like pretty ridiculous, right? But so I chose the email format because knowing them, they're shady, so they'll probably be like, oh, she didn't call. So, and I always called or email, but I usually preferred the email because I knew that that was sent out and I can get a confirmation and have, you know, something in writing on my end to cover me. So I was so mad that day though, because they told me I couldn't ask any questions. And I was like, how are you gonna like enforce something and then not, if I have questions for clarity, you can't answer them? So um I forgot all about Trump becoming president. And I wanted to quit really, but my mom was like, don't let them make you quit your job and all this stuff. And so anyways, I stayed there, but I best believe I was applying every chance I got. So I finally I was applying to all these jobs. I had several interviews and finally got this one job, and I really wanted it. And it was at Department of Education. Got and when you're working for the government, the transfer is different. Like you have to notify them if you're leaving that agency to go to another agency. So got the notification that I got the job, was getting ready to go. Then Trump imposed this hiring freeze and it prohibited me from going. So it was just like pretty awkward around the office knowing that, hey, I was trying to get up out of here and then now I'm stuck here for now. Well, everything was, I mean, I was miserable, but I'm sure she was fine. But everything was going okay. I was just coming in, doing my work, and then leaving. Well, I want to say this was what, and so, and then I was gonna add. Let you all know this. So I became a realtor, dual career, and they call it dual career because if you're a realtor, you cannot be. If you have clients, you're not a part-time realtor. Like there's no such thing. You're a full-time realtor, and then you have a full-time job. So that's what I was doing. And uh, she would make these like little comments here and there. The deputy director had commented. He just said, "Hey, I like your car magnets. I like your picture. It's nice." And she comes in from her office where she was supposed to be working, comes over to mine, and she's like, "What are you trying to sell the building?" And I'm just like, "Really, lady? Like, just let me live my life." Okay, so basically what happened was I had another job interview and I actually got the job, but honestly, still to this day, I don't even know what happened once it got to the HR department. I really don't know what happened. So I had another job interview and it was in the same agency, but it was doing administrative work. However, it was paid a little bit more than the job I had, but I really didn't want to do that type of work, but I really needed to escape like where I was working because it wasn't healthy for me. Like I really wanted to leave there. Well, I get I do the interview and they told me they had 9 people they were interviewing for one position, and I was like, well, I didn't get that then. So I just kind of cast it out. Well, they called me the next day and they were like, hey, we want to offer you the position. And I was just like, what? So I was like, all right, let me get up out of here. But then I was thinking back to the other component of it, what the line of work I was doing, which was in security realm, personnel security. And then I'm like, do I really want to go back to admin? I'm about to get my grade increased. Do I want to, but then I'm like, is my job secure here because this crazy lady like hates my guts? So I ended up, I got some advice. In hindsight, it wasn't, the best decision for me to do it this way. My approach was just going to be, hey, I was just going to go ask her straight up, like, is my job secure here? Or like, do you want me to leave? Because like, I'll leave. And that was just going to be it. Well, I was told to notify her that I had another job offer in the agency. And then I had, but I wanted to stay there if I was going to be getting my promotion, which was going to be like in a couple weeks from then. And she didn't respond to my email. So I was like praying about it. I'm like, all right, God, I'm about to just quit. Like, and I'll just wait for the formal like offer from the other position. And I just quit. Well, I typed up my resignation letter and I gave her a month notice. And that morning, I sent I gave the paper to the director. Like I typed it up and signed it and slid it under his door. So he had it. And then I guess he notified her. And I get in at like 6:30 in the morning when I used to work there. So got in at 6:30. By 9:30 in the morning, she never said anything to me in response to it, but at 9:30, the director and some lady from HR I'd never seen before came to my office, and they basically told me that they got my letter of resignation, but they had something that they found that was against me, something about me being late 8 months ago, and that they were going to either I had to resign that day or they were going to terminate me. So I was trying to figure out what the hell are they talking about? And I was just like, wow, you know? Um, so I packed up my stuff. I didn't have that much stuff there. I had already started packing, to be honest. Um, so I was halfway packed up already, and I just took my stuff to the car. I still fully don't know what they were referring to, but I had the other job offer, and I was concerned about it at that point because I'm like, okay, this is in the same agency. She has now said that I'm being terminated from this position, so I don't know what that's going to do for the other job. Well, the next morning, I got an email from the other department saying that my job offer had been rescinded. So now I have like literally no job. And then I have like credit cards and stuff like that, but the crazy thing was that at the time, so like maybe 6, 7 months prior to this, my mom was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. And so we wanted to try to all create a situation where we could all come and like live together, like where we had enough space. So at the time, I was trying to rent my house out. So I was still paying a mortgage on an empty house. And then my mom's house, I was in the process of, her house was on the market, but all my money was in her house, like all my extra funds because of like renovation. So I'm talking about like 30 grand between like some cash I had and like credit cards. So I literally had no money. Then I got the flu. I'm like, really, God? All right, I'm trying to hang on here. So trying to keep positive, So I have no job, and now I have the flu, and I was still having to go over to the property to do certain things over there. And even the contractor was like, "Man, you sound terrible. Like you should be in the bed." And I was just like, "I can't be in the bed right now." So what did I do? Oh, then so my sister got engaged, and she starts wanting to plan like the bachelorette party and all this stuff. And I'm just like, all right, I don't even have like money to put towards that. I don't have like, it's frustrating now. I promise you, I did not cry this whole time when all this stuff was happening, but I guess I'm just thinking about it now, like in hindsight, and I'm just like, crap. It was a lot. It was stressful. So people were like, well, why don't you just do real estate full time? Let me tell you something about real estate, okay? Real estate, you get paid after you close a transaction. And in order to have a transaction, you have to have a client. So, and clients do not just fall from the sky. So, real estate's not like, I wouldn't recommend anybody like, hey, quit your job today and start real estate and you'll make all this money. It doesn't work like that because you have to have clients. So, in order to make money in real estate, and those transactions have to actually get to the closing table. I've seen a lot of transactions that have fell through. Fortunately, none of mine. Hey, if you work with me, you get into the closing table, okay? But it can happen. So I was still applying to other jobs though, but slowly I just kind of like I think I had a client, and my mom's house finally sold, so that was a relief because I got my money back from that. And then I was trying to work on, I was like, all right, I gotta get my credit score back up because I'm like big on like credit, having credit, because that's your everything right there. So I'm like, all right, I gotta pay down this debt, get get my credit straight again, and I'll focus on like applying for jobs still, but I'm still gonna work in real estate. And I want to say it was like this whole period was like 8 months, and then I got another job, but it paid less, but it was kind of like I can kind of work my own hours with it, and I didn't like it, but I had to wait for a clearance to go through. So, anyways, I was waiting for this clearance, and then we had training for the job, and I was working that job for a little bit, and then everybody was like, "Why'd you work another job? Why don't you just do real estate?" And I really had to pray about it and see like kind of what direction I should go with basically my life. Like I'm 30, so yeah, my life. And I went with well, actually, it was funny because I was contemplating quitting the job that I had started like 6 months prior to that. And then I started thinking to myself, I was like, well, the holidays are coming up, so I'll get paid a little bit more I'll get paid for those holidays, and I don't have to work those days. And then I promise you, God was like, girl, didn't I tell you you're supposed to do real estate? Because my supervisor called me talking crazy about something. And I told her, I was like, you know what? I'm glad you called me, because I was actually about to email you my resignation letter. And she was like, oh, okay, well, okay. And I'm like, yeah, okay, thank you. So all that, whatever craziness she was talking, that just kind of went out the window, because I guess I caught her off guard. And then I was like, okay, God, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do real estate. I'm gonna be a realtor. So, it's been, it has its highs and lows. It's not like the best, and unfortunately, another business that I do, which is the fix and flips, I've had some contractors that messed me up pretty bad as far as financially. So it's had some challenges over there, but I've been blessed to like be able to serve clients as like helping them find their first home or selling their home, just like providing the guidance and from the experience that I've had. And I always tried to try to be the realtor I didn't have, so and I'm pretty sure I talked to a couple of my colleagues still there, and I'm pretty sure my supervisor's still miserable. So I guess her firing me didn't help her situation. But then I was highly upset. But now, maybe if I saw her today, I'd say thank you. I don't know. But definitely a transformation, coming from, like I said, I've never been in a position where I had to borrow money from somebody or something like that. I've always been the one that had to lend money. So it was definitely like a challenge for me just altogether. But I got through it, and every now and then, I mean, I still apply to jobs. And it's funny, one day my sister was, I think I was doing her hair or something, and this lady called me and she's trying to offer me a job for like 70 or 75,000 or something. And I was just like, oh, well, I'll think about it and I'll let you know. She was like, where are they just calling people offering jobs for 70K? And I was just like, well, I don't know. I mean, it happens sometimes, but I still apply here and there, but my heart lies with real estate and helping clients the best way that I can. So I just wanted to share that with you all. I was hoping that now it says it has been like 25 minutes. That wasn't the plan, but I figured it was going to be a long story. But I kind of just wanted to share that with you all, because I know some of you all see my post and you're like, Oh, you selling a house every other day? Let me tell you, it's not every other day. Okay, it would be nice if it was, but there was definitely some challenges that I had along the way to get where I am now. But um, you know, I'm thankful for all of it because I've already dealt with this before. So if it comes up again, like you know, I'm better equipped and better prepared. Same thing with when I first became a realtor, I knew my patience level was not like there. But it's funny now because everybody compliments me, all my clients, they're like, "You're so patient, you're so calm." And I'm just like, yeah, I had no idea how I used to be before. Like I want stuff done now. So um when I first became a realtor, I was praying to God for patience. And um, He gave me the patience, but it wasn't how I was expecting it. I wanted, I was thinking just if things came my way, that, He would help me with being more patient in general. But I was given obstacle after obstacle, like, hey, you got to exhibit patience with this. And I'm like, God, this isn't how I want it. Like, I wasn't asking for patience this way. So I'm very selective and particular when I make my prayers now, because that was my first year. I remember I was talking to a colleague at the time when I was at Keller Williams, and she's like, girl, you've had like everything go on this year. And I was just like, I know. And I was like, well, I prayed for patience. And she was like, oh, okay. Well, that's why this is happening. And so it all made sense, right? But all right, well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, and uh, you'll be seeing me more on camera. But you know, if you ever have any questions about anything regarding with uh, real estate, you want to know the steps to become a homeowner, there's plenty of home buyer programs out here. Your credit score doesn't have to be what the myth is. Like, you don't need a 700 credit score to buy a house. If you need to sell your house, or you just want to know kind of like, hey, what's the value of my house? Like, just like shoot me a message, let me know. And then don't think you're bothering me, because I'll get some people that write me like, hey, sorry to bother you, but I'm like, no, you're not bothering me. It's real estate. I love all things real estate. And then if you're looking to get into investing, so um, yeah. But like I said, you'll be seeing me more, and I'll catch you next time.